Hello, everyone, and welcome to Calkins Road Middle School's 5Go6 Parent Information Night. And normally I'd be welcoming you in our beautiful auditorium, but we're in a different time. But I'm still happy to see you here virtually. So tonight we'll have a little bit of information about our Calkins Road Middle School experience and hopefully be able to provide some clarity and answer some questions for you as you begin your middle schooler's journey here to Calkins Road. So first, I'd like to just introduce myself. My name is Josh Walker. I'm the principal here at Calkins Road. I've been here 8 years. I've been in the district for 10, originally from Rochester, although I started my teaching career in the Washington, D.C. area and spent some time in Saratoga before I returned back to Rochester. I have a beautiful wife of almost 20 years, and I myself have a middle schooler, a 7th grader in another district. Is just an amazing place, and every day I'm so thankful to be here. My assistant principal is Mr. Felzoy, who you see there with the orange tie. Mr. Felzoy and I have been together for 6 years here. He is a former principal from Dansville and is now a community member here in Pittsford as well. We just simply love the building and its students and the families, and it's just an honor to work with you and your children every day. So through this presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about the PTSA and some social emotional learning pieces, our school organization and course of study. As you see, there's some supports, our orientation program, extracurriculars, and communication methods. So some of our veteran parents will hear a lot of familiar information, but the purpose is really to provide kind of that high scope of information, kind of a Calkins Road 101, if you will. And I can't start talking about Calkins Road without talking about our amazing PTSA. Really, it is unlike any other community I've been a part of. Our current co-chairs are Tracy Castleberry and Danielle Kress. And from the beginning of all of our current situations, their PTSA has remained an amazing partner and done wonderful things for our students and for our teachers. It's just such a highlight of Pittsburgh schools, really, and I cannot thank the PTSA and our parent community enough for being so involved. You see some open positions we have coming up for next year, our membership chair and our 6th grade fun night chairs, and we hope to return to having those fun nights in some scope next year. Please get involved. It's just, like I said, a great partner, and just love having our parents part of our culture here. Speaking of culture, I'd like to show this poster. This is an early, or I should say an older poster of our social emotional learning initiative here at Pittsburgh Schools, really talking about the performance and the moral character. Those of you that are Allen Creek parents know the do your best work, be your best self, even when no one is watching. And we have taken this over the course of years with student input, parent input, and teacher input, and really morphed this poster from the Excellence and Ethics Institute into our midnight way of doing our best work and being our best self. And you see there at the bottom the words that our student created: creative, resilient, mindful, and spirited, CRMS. It really is our credo. It really is our learning tool. We anchor back to it when we talk with students, teachers in the classroom, and it's part of our student of the week. It's part of our faculty member spotlight. It really is a teaching tool and something that we hold dear. And we always try to recognize our students and recognize our staff for showing those pillars, those 4 pillars of the way. So we'll move to a little bit more about the organization of Calkins Road. For those that are new to middle school, we are a team-based school, which most middle schools are, where the students are together on their core area teams, core being math, science, social studies, English, and enrichment. And our teams also have a learning specialist assigned to them, which provides some support for some of our students. Counselors are with each team, and those counselors will follow the child through middle school because there is a pathway from the teams. In 6th grade, we have the orange team with Mrs. Daniels. We have the green team, which has both Mrs. Kelburn and Mrs. Sullivan. The only difference between those teams is that the green team has 6 teachers, the orange team has 4. There are 2 teachers on the green team which teach 2 subjects. but our students will have 4 different teachers. So that's why we have kind of a counselor and a half there. There's no other difference. The same offerings are on both teams. There's always the rumor like, oh, this team is the accelerated team, or this team provides more support. It's not. They're the same. We also have an enrichment period, which is the 5th period that the students are on team every single day. And what enrichment is that extra piece, that a chance to go into more depth with a curriculum, or maybe it's a lab experience. Maybe there's an SEL activity or a team building activity. And it rotates through the 4 core areas. So they get an extra period, or maybe even 2 per subject per week. And you'll see that it's become something that the students will really enjoy. Like, oh, for enrichment today, we're studying, I'll go back to my background in English, studying a certain novel, and then we're going to, in enrichment, have a debate over the characters and who was right and who was wrong. Or in science, it could be a lab. Or like I said, maybe it's just a team building activity. They take the kids outside to do some exercises like that. The teams are all on, our 2 6th grade teams are in the same hallway together, but obviously venture out of the hallway for off-team classes. A little bit early, or a little bit later in this presentation, I'll show you a little map of the school so you can see where people are. One of the things I'm commonly asked about is the student placement variables. How do we place students on a team? What happens is that I sit in the room with the counselors, and we have met with the elementary schools about every single child coming to our building, every single person we talk about. And we really are quite even when we make our teams. And so kids from schools, different levels, mathematics or languages that the students are taking. And we really look to be completely split. Sometimes we'll hear, oh, every single student from Allen Creek went to one team, but not the other. And it's not. We really do divide it up. At this point, I would say, to parents coming in, if there's something about your child you'd like to share with me, please reach out. Please send me an email. Please send me a letter. The more that we hear and get to know from your perspective what's good for your child, the better. It helps us get to know people. And it's really important that we hear that. That should be done soon. I would say by May 7th. If not before then, please feel free to send me anything that you'd like about your child. A little bit about our course of study. We have the kids, like I said, they take the 4 subjects on team, but then they do take a language, French, Spanish, or Latin, every other day in 6th grade. And then full every day in 7th and 8th. So it's really 2.5 years to do 1 year to get 1 high school credit. When they pass, assuming they pass the courses at the end and they pass the checkpoint exam in 8th grade, they will leave here with a language credit. And actually their language credit for graduation, the requirement fulfilled, although many of our students do go on. They also take a half year of health and art and general music as well. All of our students take general music, regardless if they're in an ensemble or not, and obviously PE. Love our home economics, love our family consumer science course. They'll get a chance to do some laundry and cook. I often hear from parents who are like, we love it. As a child or as a parent of a middle school child, it was great. I don't have to do my son's laundry anymore. We also have support services as needed. Students can participate. I think about 85% of our students, on average in 6th grade, are participating in one, either band, chorus, or orchestra. We have lots of student supports for our kiddos. Students that may have an IEP plan. There could be consultant teachers or special class in English, math, or reading. We do provide course support daily. And there's also speech and language support services. Our students with 504 plans work with a 504 coordinator every other day in our learning center. And in terms of general education student supports, we have Math Center, Math AIS, our Literacy Lab. So we have a science support person who will both pull students as needed or push into classes to provide extra science support. We also have a structured study hall. Students will often they'll have at least a study hall every semester, every semester sometimes for the full year. But we also have the structured study hall where maybe somebody needs a little extra help with some executive functioning or keeping organized. And these are smaller groups that are monitored by an educational assistant. We also have homework club. I love calling it homework club, although sometimes the students don't think of it as a club. It is a place that we provide after school in a normal year for students to go. Sometimes they will be assigned there, but often students will just go there to have a place to work. Our counselors also will push into classrooms and also meet with students in small groups throughout the year. Part of their state required curriculum is they do meet with students individually and as groups. We also have Pittsford Youth Services as a great partner in the building to provide some of that support as well. Well, here's the tour. Whether you would be in the auditorium, this would be up on the monitor, or here we are virtually. So let's give you a little quick tour of the building. You can see the old copy here, the old blueprint. That is the 6th grade hallway. Both teams are located in the same hallway, but to keep them close. That is the world language area. So the students do go down the 7th grade hallway, and it's either downstairs or upstairs to take French, Latin, or German. This is our beautiful music wing, chorus and orchestra and band and general music. And of course, our gymnasium and our amazing pool. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to that next year in some way. This is our technology, our Project Lead the Way based. That's 7th and 8th grade is when they take technology. Right across from the hall is our amazing arts classrooms. We have a kiln. The students do it just like our hallways get decorated with the student artwork, and it's just so amazing what they can do. Plus, we have an art club. And our family consumer science classes, both a sewing-based classroom and a kitchen-based classroom. Hopefully you get a chance at some point to come by and see our library and all of the things that are done there. We have 2 classrooms in the library, the Newberry Club, chess tournaments. Again, hopefully we'll be able to get back to all of that in a normal year. That last one there is our learning center, where we have our literacy lab and our structured study hall. And also, let's not forget the Commons. They love their food. They certainly do love their food. So in August, on August 26th this year, will be our 6th grade orientation. And WEB is our orientation program, stands for Where Everyone Belongs. And it is not just a one-day thing. How it works is student leaders that apply and are selected act as mentors. And they start with, before even August 26th, reaching out. Like 2 mentors might be assigned to 10 to 12 incoming 6th graders. And then that connection is something that starts that day. They do whole group things as a grade, and then in smaller groups. And again, I'm talking about a kind of a normal year. We've modified it a little bit this year. We're still able to have the program. I'm looking forward to continuing that this August. And it's really something that builds through the year. They do different events. They'll leave notes on their lockers. So they have that upperclassmen that they see that they can ask questions of. And the idea behind the program is it's something that's more intensive at the beginning and then gradually backs off as the students get their feet underneath them. But that is the orientation date. So please mark that down. It's a really, really important date. It's not, I mean, if people are out of town, I get it. But if at all possible, really try to be there. It's important for your child to be there. At some point on that same day, usually during that time, we have a parent orientation. Again, not completely sure what it's going to look like. That's why I don't have a time on there. But in the past, it's always been at the same time, kind of like an 11 o'clock thing for our parents, because it coordinates with picking your kid up at the end of the day. And these are just some pictures of past WEB events. You see that the kids are in there, obviously not 6 feet apart. This was several years ago. So what it would look like would be different, but just the idea of the 6th grade together as a class for the first time, that 7 years later we'll be walking across the stage. It really is a nice thing to have them all together. But the big thing is that returning to school, right? And recognizing the issues. We will have some students that will have not been in school for 18 months. And that's a big deal. Or students that have been on a hybrid model for the last year and coming to school 2 or 3 days a week, or from our elementary, hopefully 5 days. So it's going to be it's going to be a transition back for everybody. And really providing that social emotional support is so important. Yes, there's going to be some academic gaps, some academic concerns, and it's middle school. We'll work on that. We'll help the students rebuild their resiliency in the classroom academically with the executive functioning piece. But we also want to be conscious of that shock, turning back, and providing that support. And that's really what the sixth grade is. Keep in mind that our sixth grade teachers all have an elementary background as well. So that perfect transition leadership for our students coming back, providing that academic support and that guidance. This is something that our building leadership team is talking about, our social emotional committee is talking about. You know, what are ways that our district can support us? What are the ways that we can plan over the summer to really provide that extra support, that extra cushion for our students as they come in, or for our newest midnights, that welcoming community. It really is all hands on deck, and we're so excited for the kids to be back, assuming that we're back in a normal way, that we really want to create that strong environment to welcome them back and have them be excited as well. And some of the things that we're really, really proud of here at the middle school is those extracurricular opportunities. We have over 50 different clubs and activities, many of which have been running in a virtual style this year. You name it, we have it at some point. What's great about our clubs is that they are student generated, they are student run and created. And some students have an idea. I'll give you an example. One of my first years here, we had a bunch of students that were really into Minecraft. That was their thing. And they wanted a place to be able to come together with other students that were like-minded and have a Minecraft club. And they found a student or a teacher advisor, and they created a club, and they took over a computer lab, and they did that for a few years, and then they moved on to high school. And then, you know what came after that? Dungeons and Dragons. Good old-fashioned board game Dungeons and Dragons. By far our most popular club right now, to the fact that they have to meet every other week with the opposite group. And that came from the students. Of course, we have other things like our math team and our science Olympiad, which just finished 23rd in the state through the virtual science Olympiad competition. Our music ensembles and orchestra, band, and chorus. In a normal year, hopefully we'll be able to get back to our intramural sports. Very popular with our sixth graders since they can't start school sports until seventh grade. And of course, those fun nights. Love those fun nights where the kids can just have fun and be together in the gym or in the commons. So we're hoping to be able to see some of that come back to us again in some way, either at the start or during the year. What are ways that you can communicate with school? It's a little different than with elementary. You could set up a parent conference to meet with a team that would go through the counseling office. That counselor is really going to be that critical contact in middle school, because that is building a relationship for at least 3 years. And we have families that have had multiple kids come through, and it's like a decade you get to know that counselor. So that really is a critical relationship there. Our morning announcements are sent out every day. So you can see what's coming up in terms of clubs and activities or different events. You know, we'll have the students say, oh, you know, I wasn't going to go to this, and then I went home and my mom asked me about it. So now I'm here and I'm at this different event, or maybe the roller skating party or something. So it's always nice to have that encouragement. Infinite Campus Parent Portal, huge, 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 huge. To see what's going on in terms of your child's grades. Keeping in mind that's not updated every single day. You know, the teacher might have some things they're entering later, but really, really important for you to have that. Not signing in under your student's name, signing in under yours. One tip from one parent to another, turn off the notifications every time something new is added, especially around the end of a marking period. I think my phone almost overheated at the end of the first marking period as a parent. Another great communication tool we have, our homework page. It's not active this year just because of the way that we're using Teams, but next year we'll see that homework page come back where you can literally check every day. We post the homework for the teachers in the building by 3:30 every day. So you can at home, hey, you got any English homework? Nope. You can look and double check. It's also a great resource that we teach the students to also check that as well. I send out a newsletter every month with some events that have happened and some things that are upcoming. And we also have, and you can see some of these shows on our website, between two nights, Mr. Falzo and I like to have a little talk show hosted by Mrs. Smith from our counseling office. And of course, Twitter. We have a Twitter account. We try to put a lot of things out there, things that you could go back to. I encourage you, follow us now. You can see what's happening. It's our way to try to give a glimpse of what's happening in the building through the day. So that homework page, yes, the little extra arrow there, I highly encourage you to utilize that one that's back up and running. So we will have that August parent orientation. It's going to be August 26th. The format, we're not completely sure. Again, that's why there's not a specific time on there. But it'll be during web, and we'll be providing some resources for parents, different things, especially, for those of you that are new to the middle school scene. It's important to have that information available, those resources for you. I encourage you to check out my website right now on the Calkins Road page. I've put some resources up there. You'll see some of the things from our orientation last year or 2 years ago on different resources. So check those out. One thing I want to leave you with is advice from our students. Some of these are collected last year. Some of these I collected about an hour ago when I met with some students in my principal's cabinet. I said, what is advice you have for parents of kids coming in for the first time to sixth grade? And let me tell you, when you ask middle schoolers for their opinion, they give it to you. So here's just some of the things that they shared. Middle school is an emotional roller coaster. We might yell a lot. Yeah, I have a seventh grader at home. Don't overschedule. It's important to have some downtime so we don't burn out. And these are the kids saying that. Life is different from when you were in school. Yeah, I had a mullet when I was in middle school. The food is good. Make sure we have money in our accounts. Yes, they will tell you about chicken bowl and the different types of chicken bowl. So they do like that. Friends and likes and dislikes change. We're trying to figure it all out. I thought that was good. Sometimes it feels like the world is on top of us. We want to do our best. And sometimes we just need you to tell us, good job, and give us a hug. I thought that was really perceptive and sweet. So I'm so excited to have you and your children come here to Calkins Road. I hope that you are safe and healthy, and you have a wonderful end of the year and a wonderful summer. And I hope that we're able to see each other live and in person soon. Until then, thank you for all that you do for our children and for your families and for our schools. I wish you the very best. Have a wonderful summer. Take care.